most European standards, Aron would still be considered a child, one of the rabbi's 5 sons, a thin, curly-headed 15-year-old who should have been setting his mind on his future, chasing pretty girls like Rachel Weisbord, and falling in love for the first time. Love. The very word had lost all meaning for him. There was no such thing as love anymore, nor was there any future to contemplate. Not for him, not for anyone. Only the fear remained, etched indelibly into his consciousness. Daunting fear, a sadistic apprehension that kept one's heart pounding and palms wet. Purposeful the way the invaders wanted it to be, keeping them all in a state of constant, nerve-wracking anxiety. Who would live and who would die tomorrow? When would they all be taken away? These were the unspoken topics in his once peaceful town of Białobrzegi. Its disheartened, simple people huddled in obscurity along the desolate streets, conversing in whispers before the dreaded 8 p.m. curfew, terrified of being overheard by suspicious neighbors, strangers, or the ever-vigilant soldiers that prowled relentlessly. Worst of all, Aron realized, was the terrible paranoia that had gripped and swept across Poland like a biblical plague. His Poland, his home, his country. Not long before, the streets of the town had been crowded with people. So many sounds everywhere. Laughter, gaiety, the active markets crammed with shoppers during the day, the strolling of lovers in the evening, and the town's many visitors. The constant groaning of old wooden wagons with creaking wheels making their way south and north along the bustling Warsaw-Radom road, bringing goods to and from the capital. Those had been good times for Aron, times of boisterous dares by young men taunting each other in fun. The giggles of girls being teased by the local boys. There were the shouts of children playing soccer on the grass. Jews versus Gentiles, competing as friendly rivals, not as enemies. Now all that had disappeared. What had changed it? He didn't understand the reasons. Not even Papa could explain it to him. Weren't the Germans the cultured descendants of Goethe and Schiller? A people known for the creation of great literature, music, science, renowned for its sophistication. There would be no more soccer matches in Białobrzegi. All its past was now buried deeply in time and memories, never to return, Aron knew. It was replaced, instead, with the ominous thuds of boots, Nazi, fascist ones, harsh against the grey cobblestone. The fearful shouts at night of "halt" as some soldier caught a hapless soul darting across the shadowy alleys. And then, perhaps most fearful of all, the distant sounds of gunfire. Białobrzegi had been a beautiful little town, nestled at the edge of a forest beside the winding and scenic river Pileca, about 80 kilometers south of Warsaw. A resort town, a place very much out of a storybook, where visitors from the big city might come to stay for a few days or a week to enjoy the air, the serenity, and the bracing cool waters. A brand-new bridge of gleaming steel and concrete, spanning magnificently across the shimmering river as you entered the town. After school, Aron and his friends would run to the river's banks to lie in the deep grass and watch in wonder as the lumbering, heavy machinery went into motion, gasping as the bridge slowly took graceful shape and fanned far across both banks. "Maybe I'll become an engineer and build bridges like this," Aron thought. "Or perhaps I'll study architecture at the university." After all, wasn't anything possible for a young man who aggressively pursues what he wants? Papa always told him that a man who takes his studies seriously could possess the whole world. Isn't that also what Papa taught his pupils in the Hebrew and Bible classes he taught at home? And hadn't Mama believed this too before she died? Aron shook his head in bewilderment. Those memories were so far removed from the present reality. University-educated engineers were not needed for digging graves. Architects were necessary to set gravestones.